Thank you, Chair. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. سأبدأ بالعربية بشعر لشاعر عربي عظيم اسمه المتنبي يقول: طوى الجزيرة حتى جاءني خبر فزعت فيه بآمالي إلى الكذب، حتى إذا لم يدع لي صدقه أملا شرقت بالدمع حتى كاد يشرق بي. يا أخت خير أخ، يا بنت خير أبي، كناية بهما عن أشرف النسب. كل إنسان لديه أعزاءه وأحباءه بكل ألم وبكل حزن. جميعنا نتألم لأجل المنكوبين في تلك الطائرة، سواء عرفناهم أم لم نعرفهم، فلكل منهم عزيز. ولكن في مثل هذه الحوادث الأليمة فإننا ندرك أنها تقوينا، تقربنا أكثر، تزيدنا رغبة في الإنجاز، في العمل، فالوقت قصير ولا يعرف أحد منا متى ينتهي ذلك الوقت. Thank you, Chair. The major groups and other stakeholders comprising of all regions from all over the world have met last week, and these are our views. Firstly, I would like to thank UNEA for the support in the organization of the Global Major Group and Stakeholder Forum and the Civil Society Unit for the tireless work out through the year. Our major concern is that we are seeing a whole new wave of resolutions, and on top of the previous UNEA resolutions, the majority remain paper-bound, without any implementation or monitoring. CSOs, as outlined by Rio+20, are key actors of the implementation of the global agreements on the ground. For that, we need meaningful engagement at UNEA during the whole cycle. This needs new funding to follow the UNEA processes and the implementation on the ground. The dire state of our planet needs urgent action. The slow response of our governments has caused us to pass 4 of the 9 planetary boundaries. We need a scheme to monitor the implementation of these resolutions in place. But member states are, like Nero, still fiddling while Rome is burning. The different issues addressed at UNEAs have also been undertaken in silos, without overarching strategic planning and effective actions to identify and act on key root causes and drivers of unsustainable resource use and environmental degradation. We also sense significant lack of ambition and resolve to act. On the theme of UNEA, unsustainable consumption and production are not symptoms to be tackled by mitigation tactics. They are driven by human greed and overconsumption. The priority is given to economic growth over well-being, social and environmental matters, unfortunately. We need fundamental policy and behavioral changes to tackle this problem. We also need strong political will and effective accountability mechanisms for governments and the private sector. It is our concern that references to multilateral environmental agreements, including the Paris Agreement, the CBD, the Basel and the Rotterdam Conventions, among others, are often deleted from the resolutions and brings us further back in the commitments. We therefore call on member states to keep to the Rio+20 non-regression principle. Regarding content of UNEA 4 resolutions, some key points we raise are: on plastics, we need a new legally binding global agreement to address the plastic pollution crisis that is devastating our environment, our health, and endangers the jobs and livelihood of millions that live from the sea. The existing instruments are highly relevant to addressing this crisis and should be strengthened. Plastic pollution needs to be tackled from the roots. the oil extraction, the whole life cycle of the production of plastics do matter. On governance, currently, every week, 4 human rights and environmental defenders are killed. We welcome the new UN policy to protect environmental defenders and request member states to respect civil society organizations that are working to protect the environment and human rights. Do not consider us as anti-development. We are not. On gender, we caution against the weakening and even possible deletion of the first ever resolution on women and environment at UNEA, and request some of the member states negotiating this resolution to understand that promoting gender equality is not a new issue and has been already agreed in the SDGs 2015, CSW 2016, Beijing Platform for Action 1995, and even the CEDAW in 1976. On food systems, governments should stop promoting and even subsidizing an unsustainable industrial agricultural model of food production, responsible for GHG emissions, forest and biodiversity loss, environmental degradation, loss of people's livelihood and jobs, and even human rights violations. Support for scale food producers and traditional sustainable agricultural practices should be the priority, along with dietary change. Overall financial remedies include disincentivizing unsustainable consumption and production, including the removal of any perverse incentives, is a must. A serious divestment toward a true transition to ecological and sustainable production and practices is urgently needed. Actually, it is needed now. As our colleague from the youth major group said, youth, we need a change, and we need it now. Thank you for the opportunity to give this joint statement on behalf of the major groups and stakeholders. Thank you, everybody.